everyone, welcome back to So Vintage. You probably notice I'm coming to you from someplace other than the sewing room, and that is because I am currently up in Wisconsin enjoying a nice weekend and visiting family, and I was just doing some editing and I needed an intro and an outro for this video, so here we are. In this video, we're going to be stitching up the armholes, and we're also going to begin stitching the skirt. Yes, the skirt! That means we are so close to being finished with this dress. So that's so exciting. So let's go ahead and get started. Now we are going to finish off the armholes on our bodice. So with this inside out, we're going to turn back the hem, and then we're going to baste it. Now, in the instructions, it just says turn in hem at armhole, baste close to fold. Well, how far do you turn in the hem? We know that a seam allowance is 5/8 of an inch normally, but do they want us to do something different? Where you can find the hem is actually on the pattern piece. So this is the pattern piece for the bodice upper front. And as you can see right here, it says hem 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. So that is how we are going to fold in those armholes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my adjustable ruler and move it down to 1 inch. And then just take the fabric, fold it over until I hit that 1 inch, and then I'm going to pin it. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to pin that 1 inch hem at essentially the four corners, at the shoulder, under the armpit, and on each side. That way I know everything's kind of evened up, and then I just have to pin, kind of fill in the pinning, if that makes sense. Okay, so there we have our first pin, which is just on the back of the shoulder. I'm going to flip this so that we're dealing with the section that is right on top of the shoulder. Again, measuring that hem at 1 inch and then placing in my pin. Right, so I'm just going to continue to pin. So what I also did is I went along the very edge and I used my pinking shears so that the fabric wouldn't fray. Now, there's a couple things that you can do for the armholes. It suggests that you can either do a seam binding, which is this, which essentially is just fabric folded over, which you open up and wrap around the edge of your fabric and then stitch down. Our neckline doesn't have a black binding around it, so I think it would look silly, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go with just the standard hem on this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to fold my cut edge in towards the folded area, and then I'm going to pin that. And then when we stitch this, we're going to stitch as close to our folded edge as possible, because that will give us a nice finished edge there. We won't have to worry about fraying. And on the other side we'll have a nice black stitch detail here. So again, all I'm doing is taking that fabric that we just trimmed, tucking it inside the seam, and then pinning it. Alright, so I'm going to do that all the way around both of the armholes, and then we're going to get to stitching this. So what I did to make things a little bit easier is I took this section off my sewing machine so that it would be easier to fit the arm around. So what I'm going to do is I am going to slide out a couple of my pins here, and I am going to place my fabric right there and bring the needle down, and again right onto the very edge of our folded edge there. The very edge of that fold right there. reaching a bit of a tricky part in this stitch, and that is the armpit, the very, very bottom of the armpit where we meet this other stitching, because as you see, our pinning goes up this way. So essentially what we're going to do is you just want to peel back all those layers so that you can see where that turn takes place, and just go really slow. And then as you approach that V intersection, I manually turn the wheel. Until I get right at the center point. And then I lift my foot and I shift my fabric so that I am now pointed in the right direction. Now it's still a bit of a tricky area here, so I'm going to do the foot a couple times, or manually spin the wheel a couple times before taking up the regular stitching. Alright, so exciting times. We have our top is pretty close to being done, and now we are going to move on to the skirt. So we're going to take pieces 6 and 7, I'm going to lay them out. We want the right sides facing each other. Well, we are going to match up the sides of our skirt. Start on that side by matching up the notches that we made. I always find that's the easiest way to get things a-rolling. And then what I like to do is I like to match up the bottom, and then you got it, matching up the top. And then we're going to pin the sides here, and then we are going to go ahead and finish up pinning the sides in the same on this side, matching up the notches as well. Alright, so that's that for today, and so when I come back we will actually we'll stitch those sides up. Alright, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and as always, in the comment section, let's talk about this. What would you have chosen to do with the armholes? Would you have chosen to use the seam binding, or would you have done a hem stitch like me? Plus, you guys know I always love talking to you guys in the comments. As always, a quick and easy way to let me know that you like this video and you like overall what's going on a Vintage Vanity is to click the thumbs right down there. Let me know you like what's happening. And if you haven't already done so and you want to know when new videos are up, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That will let you know when new stuff is up, and then you will not miss a moment of what's going on here. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye!